Hey, welcome back to the channel. On deck today we have a Takamine EF360SC-TT. Looks to be solid top, and it's got some issues that we need to attend to. But first, hey, thank you so much. So I will show you the issue with this guitar here. Well, the action is really low on it, especially the first string. I mean, it's ridiculous. You could, if you had the frets dressed, you could probably play an acoustic like this, because mine's like this, but the E string buzzes a lot. Well, look, see? We need the action raised up quite a bit. It's got to come up. This guy wants to play hard, right? And look at the nut. Who did this? This is an acoustic. It's laying right on the first fret. That's way too low for an acoustic. Yeah, that's too low. That's too low. So probably I'm going to shim the nut, recut it, and shim the two saddles. And that should bounce this baby right back into action. I haven't tried the truss rod yet. The neck is set perfectly. But like I've said before, the thing I never understand is when a guitar comes in for a setup, like I've seen this a lot on YouTube, and guys will cut all the strings off. Don't do that. And then you can check out the neck, see what it does, check out the, you can, well, not on an acoustic, but you can lower the action, see where it's buzzing, you know, see how the truss rod works. Don't just yank off the strings. Anyway, I'll soon be yanking off the strings. Okay, now the guitar, the E string is laying on the first fret. The relief is perfect, I think. The relief's good. There's nothing wrong with that. But it's got a couple of high frets. See the tone's not moving? Because it's always right where it meets the body. These two frets are high. So now you take your fret rocker and there's definitely that's a big part of the problem right there, those frets that are... Wow. You know what I'm going to do? This is one of my better... He's one of my two best customers. I am going to dress those couple frets, eliminate the high frets. Then I'm going to see what it's like, because he said this thing was killer. The action was super low, and it was a pretty expensive guitar. So that's what I'm going to do. Before I fix the nut or anything, I'm going to address these high frets. So let's do that, and then we'll see how it plays without doing any shims or anything. I know I got to do the nut. That's a given. So here we go. So basically, I got the guitar away, too far away from the camera. Let me bring the camera in a little bit here. Basically, both of these two frets are high. The first one I've got taken down a little bit. Now I'm working on the second one. I just have to keep checking it. Got to go a little bit more. I just keep checking it and checking it. And what I'm trying to do is get rid of these. They always just rise up right here by the neck. If I could just get these lower down, I might be able to not shim it, because the action he said was super low, and that would definitely be something that's going to kill the action. I'm just going to keep working this. This is kind of boring, so maybe we'll skip over this part, but you just have to take your time. You don't want to take off too much. Both those frets are hidey-ho. All right, keep at it. Okay, next. Let me just tap out this nut. Be careful. Oh, there it is. Good. Good. It's nice and clean. So I got a shim here I'm going to make and put it in there. Trying to save my buddy some money. All right. Well, after playing it, it still buzzes. I sent my customer, I told him that they kind of need to be dressed to get the playability he wants. And that would be a little bit more money. I'm going to clean this board up and I'm going to start taping it, and I'm going to start dressing these frets. It needs that. If it's just, look how dirty it is. And the strings are really dirty. And even if you can't afford it, I'll do it anyway. He's a good customer. Yeah, he's played it. There's a lot of divots in these frets. I mean, some people play them way lower than that. See Brian May's frets. They've never been changed. They've been in there since '64. All right, I'm going to clean this off with some superfine to get rid of all this. This is gross. And I'll start taping. And I might just, it's getting kind of late. I might just tape it all up and finish it tomorrow. Well, I'm going to get this neck all straight. Where is my truss rod? Here we go. I'll get this straight end. Then I'll get it taped up. It's just a little too much in my face. One thing I do not like is two-way truss rods. Pretty rare for a neck to back bow. That pretty much never happens. Pretty rare. It's got relief at the end, but those couple of frets, especially on right on the where the E string goes, we got some problems. Yeah. There's a high point in the neck there. That always happens. But there's a lot of good relief. I'm sure this thing played great. I think that's fine. All right. Now, we're going to do the nasty one more time. Okay, so you saw what I did. I went over the, well, I masked the fretboard, and then I went over the frets with the file. Then I went over the frets with my crowning file, which I hardly ever use a crowning file. And now I'm going to break out the sandpaper. I'm going to break out the jams. And we're going to dress these frets to perfection. Well, they're already kind of dressed, but now we're going to smooth them all out. You don't really have to do this. When you first go over it, you want to, because if there's like grooves in it, you know you've got all the grooves out. I had a Paul Reed Smith. I had 3 Paul Reed Smiths, but I had a Harley Benton, that what was it called again? I forget what it was called. It's like a telly. It had stainless steel frets. They are really nice. I'm only at 1,000, but I just wanted to show you once I do all the go over all the frets with the sandpaper. I'll roll this up, and I like to do the edges. I've already crowned them, but I just want that edge to be real nice. So I got a few more gauges sandpaper to do. I got 15 up to 3,000, so I'll do that. You don't need to see that. Boring stuff. Hey, here's a tip for you. Like when I do these jobs, I like to put all the sandpaper. Well, I've got like here. Here's a common sense thing for you. This is one of those things you keep your papers in, right? One of these guys. Write down all the different sandpaper and put it in there, right? Common sense, make it easy. And instead of going through each one, I just put it in order, what I'm going to use to dress frets, up to 3,000. Makes it a lot easier. Okay, now I'm going to polish these frets. It's the next day, and I haven't been able to get to my bench till now. All right. Next thing to do, got to shim up this saddle now. Got this one set pretty good. We got to raise this this ridiculously low E string. It doesn't sound like it wants to buzz though, but it does buzz a little bit. I know some of those notes were buzzing a little bit yesterday. Okay, I got the saddle out. Okay, so get my shims together and get them in here. So I'm going to measure these. It's definitely too low on the E, I think. That's too low. But I'm going to measure them, and oh, Tony Montana just dropped off a guitar. Now I'm going to see about raising up this slot here. This is a bone nut. I've got bone dust. And I got some super glue, so we're gonna, and it's not in. Remember, I took it out. It's just sitting here. I was gonna shim it. So let me get my a measuring apparatus and see where we're at. Say hello to my little friend. I'm going to make this nut taller. Let's see how that goes. The hardest part will be to make it flat, but I think we can do it. I think we can do it. So we're just test fitting here. You can see we got quite a ways to go. So now it might end up looking like there's a shim, but it's really just making the nut a little bit taller. So I think that is a lot better than just shimming it. I think. I feel a lot better about it. So I'm just going to have to keep sanding and be careful not to sand it too much. Now the middle strings are loose. Yeah, I think the E string is higher. Sometimes that can be deceiving with different size strings. All right, I'll carry on. Okay, the nut is in, so now I'm going to cut it. That worked out pretty good. Just made the nut a little taller. And here is the final result. Got some pretty good action. And I cut this to 12 thousandths, the nut. So it plays good, sounds good, and she is ready to be loved. Anyway, thank you so much for stopping by, and I will see you next time. Take care. Bye-bye.